If you are a green card holder, a naturalized U.S. citizen, or someone with family members living abroad, you may have seen headlines recently that cause some concern. Phrases like IRS now tracking all foreign accounts or new surveillance on immigrants can feel alarming, especially if you're someone who has worked hard to build a life here in the United States. My name is Piper, and I run this channel to help people like you understand immigration news, tax rules, and policy changes in a calm, clear way. My goal today is not to scare you. My goal is to explain what is actually happening, who this applies to, and most importantly, to help you separate fact from fear. So take a deep breath. We're going to go through this together, step by step. Before we continue, I want to remind you that I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a tax professional, and I'm not a government official. The information I share in this video is for educational purposes only. It is meant to help you understand the topic so that you can make informed decisions. If you have specific concerns about your personal situation, I always recommend consulting with a licensed attorney or a certified public accountant who specializes in immigration or international tax law. Now, let's get into what this is really all about. So, what exactly is happening? The truth is, the IRS has had rules in place for many years that require certain people to report foreign financial accounts. This is not a brand new policy that was just created last week or last month. What we are seeing now is increased enforcement and better technology that allows the IRS to cross-check information more efficiently. The law that governs this is called the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, or FATCA, and it was passed back in 2010. There is also something called the Report of Foreign Bank and Financial Accounts, known as FBAR, which has been around even longer, since the 1970s. These laws were designed to prevent tax evasion by ensuring that people who live in the United States and have financial accounts in other countries are reporting those accounts properly. Now let's talk about who this applies to. If you are a U.S. citizen, whether you were born here or you became a citizen through naturalization, and you have foreign bank accounts or financial assets, you may be required to report them. If you are a green card holder, meaning you are a lawful permanent resident of the United States, the same rules apply to you. The United States taxes its citizens and permanent residents on their worldwide income, no matter where that income is earned. This is different from many other countries that only tax income earned within their borders. So if you have a savings account in your home country, or if you still have investments or property abroad, the IRS wants to know about it. But here's the key point. You are only required to report these accounts if the total value of all your foreign accounts combined exceeds $10,000 at any point during the year. If your foreign accounts hold less than $10,000 total, you do not need to file an FBAR. Let me say that again. If the combined total of all your foreign accounts is less than $10,000, you do not need to report them under FBAR. Now let's talk about who this does not apply to. If you are living in the United States on a temporary visa, such as a student visa, a work visa, or a visitor visa, and you are not a green card holder or a citizen, then these rules generally do not apply to you in the same way. Non-resident aliens have different tax obligations. Also, if you are a U.S. citizen or green card holder, but you do not have any foreign bank accounts, foreign investments, or foreign property, then this entire topic does not concern you at all. You do not need to worry. Many people who immigrated to the United States years ago and who closed all their accounts in their home country before moving here have nothing to report. If that's you, take a breath. This does not apply to you. Let's clear up some common myths. Myth number 1, the IRS is spying on every immigrant. This is not true. The IRS is not targeting immigrants specifically. These rules apply to all U.S. citizens and green card holders, regardless of where they were born. A U.S. citizen who was born in Texas but who opened a bank account in Canada while working there temporarily has the same reporting requirement as a naturalized citizen who still has a savings account in India. This is about tax compliance, not immigration status. Myth number 2, if you report your foreign accounts, you will be taxed twice. This is also not accurate. Reporting your foreign accounts does not automatically mean you owe taxes on that money. You are simply informing the IRS that these accounts exist. In many cases, the money in those accounts has already been taxed, or it may not be taxable at all. The United States has tax treaties with many countries to prevent double taxation. Reporting is not the same as paying. Myth number 3, if you made an honest mistake and forgot to report an account, you will lose your green card or citizenship. This is not how it works. The IRS distinguishes between innocent errors and intentional fraud. If you forgot to file an FBAR or you didn't realize you needed to, there are programs that allow you to come into compliance without facing severe penalties. Willful violations, meaning you knew about the requirement and deliberately ignored it, are treated much more seriously. But honest mistakes, especially for people who are elderly or who don't speak English as a first language, are handled differently. Now let's talk about some rare situations versus everyday life. The headlines you see online often focus on extreme cases. For example, someone who hid millions of dollars in offshore accounts to avoid paying taxes, or someone who used complex schemes to move money secretly. These are the cases that make the news. But for the average person, a green card holder who still has a small retirement account in their home country, or a naturalized citizen who keeps a joint account with an elderly parent abroad, the reality is much simpler. You file the required forms, you report the accounts, and you move on with your life. The vast majority of people who file these reports never hear from the IRS about it again. It becomes part of your annual routine, just like filing your regular tax return. Let me give you some realistic examples. Maria is a green card holder who moved to the United States from Mexico 15 years ago. She still has a savings account in Mexico with about $8,000 that she keeps in case she needs to help her mother with medical expenses. Because the balance is under $10,000, Maria does not need to file an FBR. She does not need to report this account. John is a naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in the Philippines. He has a small piece of land in his hometown that he rents out, and the rental income goes into a local bank account. The balance in that account is usually around $15,000. John is required to file an FBR each year to report this account. He also reports the rental income on his U.S. tax return. He may be able to claim a foreign tax credit if he already paid taxes on that income in the Philippines. Priya is a green card holder from India. She has a joint bank account with her brother in India that has a balance of $50,000. Even though the account is joint and not solely in her name, she is still required to report the entire balance of that account on her FBAR. These are the kinds of everyday situations that most people face. They are not dramatic. They are not criminal. They are simply part of living in a globalized world. So what should you do? First, take inventory. Sit down and make a list of any bank accounts, investment accounts, retirement accounts, or other financial assets you have outside the United States. Include the name of the institution, the country, and the approximate balance. Second, determine if you meet the reporting threshold. Add up the highest balances of all your foreign accounts during the past year. If the total is more than $10,000, you need to file an FBR. Third, file the required forms on time. The FBR is filed separately from your regular tax return. It is submitted electronically through a system called FinCEN. The deadline is usually April 15th with an automatic extension to October 15th. Fourth, if you realize you have not filed in previous years, do not panic. Look into the IRS streamlined filing compliance procedures, which allow you to catch up without facing harsh penalties if your failure to file was not willful. Fifth, consider working with a professional if you have multiple foreign accounts, if you receive income from abroad, or if your situation is complicated. A tax professional who understands international tax law can be very helpful. Now let's talk about what you should not panic about. You should not panic if you have a small account that falls under the $10,000 threshold. You do not need to do anything. You should not panic if you are a U.S. citizen or green card holder who has been reporting your foreign accounts all along. You are already in compliance. Keep doing what you're doing. You should not panic if you have never had a foreign account. This topic does not apply to you. You should not panic if you made an honest mistake in the past. The IRS has processes for correcting errors. You should not panic if you are waiting for your green card or citizenship and you do not have one yet. These rules apply only after you become a permanent resident or citizen. Let me give you some context about immigration updates, because I know many of you watching this video are also navigating the immigration system. Right now, processing times for green cards, naturalization applications, work permits, and travel documents are still experiencing delays. USCIS is working through a significant backlog. It is not unusual to wait many months or even over a year for certain applications to be processed. This is frustrating, I know, but it is important to understand that silence from USCIS does not mean something is wrong. In most cases, it simply means your case is waiting in line. If you have applied for naturalization and you are worried about your foreign accounts affecting your application, let me reassure you, having a foreign bank account does not disqualify you from becoming a U.S. citizen. What matters is that you are honest on your application, that you report your foreign accounts to the IRS as required, and that you pay your taxes. Citizenship decisions are based on your eligibility under immigration law, not on whether you have a savings account in another country. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the emotional side of all of this. I know that many of you came to this country with dreams of a better life. You worked hard, you followed the rules, you waited in line, and now, when you see a headline that says the IRS is tracking you, it can feel like you are being singled out or treated unfairly. I want you to know that your feelings are valid. It is stressful to navigate two systems at once, immigration and taxes, especially if English is not your first language, or if you did not grow up learning about these topics. But I also want you to know that you are not alone. Millions of people in this country are in the same situation. Dual obligations are part of being a permanent resident or a naturalized citizen, and while it can feel overwhelming, it is manageable. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be honest and willing to learn. Let me summarize what we have covered today. The IRS has long-standing rules that require U.S. citizens and green card holders to report foreign financial accounts if the total value exceeds $10,000. This is not a new policy. This is not targeting immigrants. This applies to everyone. The vast majority of people who need to file these reports do so without any issues. If you have a small account under the threshold, you do not need to file. If you made an honest mistake, there are ways to fix it. If you are unsure, a tax professional can help. Reporting your accounts does not mean you owe extra taxes. It does not affect your immigration status if you are honest and compliant. And most importantly, the system is designed to be fair. It is slow. Yes, it is bureaucratic. Yes, but it is not random. It is not a trap. It is a set of rules that apply equally to everyone. If you are watching this video because you were scared by a headline, I hope you now feel a little more informed and a little less anxious. The truth is almost always less dramatic than the clickbait. My goal with this channel is to give you the facts in a way that is easy to understand so that you can make decisions with confidence instead of fear. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate it if you would leave a comment below letting me know. If you have questions, feel free to share them. I read every comment and I try to respond when I can. And if you want to stay updated on immigration news, tax changes, and other topics that affect our community, please consider subscribing to this channel. I post new videos regularly, and I always try to present information in a balanced, respectful way. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for trusting me with your time, and please remember you are doing your best. You are learning, you are adapting, and that is enough. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next